And then I started pitching the idea of this rehab to the people that commission services. And one of those guys, a guy called Tom Wood, who was involved in the commissioning service in Edinburgh, listened, and he liked the idea, and he asked me to write it up properly in proposal. We pitched it to the Scottish government. Well, it was actually the Scottish executive back then, before devolution, and they were getting hammered actually in the newspapers at the time for having all our eggs in one basket in terms of treatment options. You know, it was really at that point it was methadone or nothing, and we've got more treatment options now than we had then. But that was it, and so they funded some what were called abstinence pilots, so what I would call recovery service, but they called them abstinence pilots across Scotland, and LEAP got funded for 2 years, and we built in a robust evaluation to it, which turned into a study, which then led to publication of 2 papers on our 1 year and then 4-year outcomes. So yeah, that was it's quite interesting because there was a lot of support for that, and there was a lot of resistance to it at the time. The resistance came from grounds of, well, the NHS can't do rehab because there wasn't a tradition of that, and also from the genuine worries of prescribers that we would put people in danger by taking them off of opiates, you know, which were saving their lives. So we had to try to, I mean, this was thought about before these concerns came up, but we had to put in mitigations to try to make sure that we didn't put people at risk, and that people were aware of the risks and were fully informed of the choices, and nobody was coming to us under any kind of coercion and there was plenty of demand from the very beginning. We had very quickly the referrals overtook the number of places that we had. The resource was outstripped by the demand.
And this was in Edinburgh, wasn't it, David? This was
for the whole of Lothian. So for Edinburgh, East, Mid and West Lothian, the counties that surround Edinburgh. Yeah, it's a population of probably about 800,000 people. And we had 16 beds. And I'm making it sound like it just sprung up, but it took a lot of time to get off the ground and recruit the staff team and so on. It was hard work. And I suppose we're 15 years down the line now from the setup with the delivery, starting the delivery of that service, and we've just recently published our 4-year outcome papers, which show, you know, that the patients generally have got a very good chance of achieving their goals if they come to rehab, and the ones that do best are the ones that complete. So we changed the way that we delivered the service to try and ensure the maximum number of people completing, and we've done that by connecting people to support systems, by bringing in lived experience. When I say bringing in, volunteers and paid practitioners with lived experience working in the service to help support people through the journey. It is difficult. As I found it difficult, so do lots of people, and we want to get as many people through across the finish line as possible. Of course, the finish line is not the finish line. Coming to the end of rehab is the start of a much longer journey that rehab's just a tiny part of, and so having an eye to getting ready for rehab, aftercare after rehab, and most importantly, connecting people up into supportive communities of recovery. These are all key. And the other thing to try, just back to the mitigation of risks thing, is to try to ensure that we've got really fluid boundaries between different sorts of treatment, so that if people do lapse or relapse, that we can either bring them back into rehab, or we can get them back into community treatment.